Was there a mics are hot call? That's 2 straight days there. Yeah, this is just broadcasting 101.
Okay.
All right. Evidently the mics are hot. Thank you. We're going to rock and roll in the program here in a matter of moments, viewers and listeners on the show. Take a look at the screen for today's headlines. Last night's special meeting with Charlottesville City Council and stakeholders was absolutely, must-watch programming, must-watch content. It was literally a train wreck I was watching. Judah's up to speed on it. It's available wherever you get. I think YouTube is probably the best spot. We're going to highlight the lowlights and the highlights and lowlights on this show with 4 video clips from the meeting last night. Just absolutely bananas what is going on here. We are trying to make some sense with what's going on in this community, including an astronomical estimate for this shelter. Now there's discussion that transportation needs to be provided to the homeless to get to and from the shelter. That back of the napkin estimate is $500,000 roughly a year. There's also discussion about the cost to operate the shelter from a yearly standpoint. We're talking $3 to $4 million a year. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna lowlights and highlights from the meeting yesterday on the show today. We have been boolangered here. We've absolutely been boolangered here by local government, and you need to understand what's going on. I also have census data provided by the esteemed and trusted Deep Throat that we're going to show on the showcase on today's show. The census data suggests a problematic trend line for Charlottesville City as it applies to migration away from CVille. We need to have a really serious discussion, a wake-up call type of discussion of what's going on around here, because the local government who's been kowtowing to loud activists locally, it's backfiring, and it's very clear what's happening. J-Dubs, you got those charts ready to go?
I'm working on getting them.
Fantastic. And the sizzle reels are good?
They're in there.
Okay. My suggestion, because we're going to be playing those sizzle reels, is to see if you can have those charts done during one of the sizzle reels on not the show computer, the show Mac, but the supporting laptop. Feel good about that?
No, I'm going to try to grab them right now.
Okay, so that's not going to interfere with the feed, right?
I still have to get them onto this computer, right?
Okay, how much time do you need for that?
It's a minute.
Okay, let's do that now, because I definitely do not want to interfere with the feed when these videos are going to be playing. I'm going to also be watching them in live and real time. Viewers and listeners, grab your lunch, grab your iced coffee, grab your tea. When you're about to watch this, you're going to need to grab the Scotch and the Johnny Walker Black. I understand it's 12:30 in the afternoon, but I suggest you grab the Scotch, the Macallan 12, the Johnny Walker Black, or if you're Cali sober, grab the spliff of your choice. Because what you're about to see is absolute. I cannot believe what we're about to show you on this program. And we'll lead with the mayor, Juan Diego Way. Judah, you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Quiet on the set.
Welcome to the I Love CVille show, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on a Thursday afternoon in downtown Charlottesville. We're going to respond and react to yesterday's special city council meeting. It was insanity. You're talking the what's the saying? Folks running the insane asylum. The patients running the
yeah.
insane asylum. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're entering a boondoggle here. We're getting boolangered by council. You're talking a project that's going to be minimum $20 million. This Holiday Drive project. Craziness that happened yesterday. The yearly operating budget for this homeless shelter is $3 to $4 million as long as the shelter is online. $3 to $4 million every year. Lloyd Snook, the counselor, straight up said, I don't know where that $3 to $4 million is going to come from and who's going to foot the bill. And the stakeholders that were in attendance, the homeless, the nonprofits that are on the teat of local government that are funded by this madness are like, yeah, we don't know where that money's going to come from either. They don't have an operator. They had this crazy conversation. They may enter into a partnership with Jaunt to transport the houseless to the shelter, and that contract is going to run $500,000 a year. They're straight up saying we're years before this is online. And the executive director of the Haven, who makes his living, the executive director of the Haven, who makes his salary by servicing the houseless on the downtown mall here on Market Street, straight up said to council, once this $20 million homeless shelter comes online, you're still going to have the homeless camping on the downtown mall, on the Rivanna River, and on the Rivanna Trail. We have 4 videos that we're going to play on the show today. One of Mayor Juan Diego Wade, which was absolute rambling. Is it 90 seconds? A minute 52, the Juan Wade?
Yeah, Juan is close to 2 minutes.
I think he is the nicest guy in the world. I've said this so many times on this program. Juan Wade is a nice person. He is a nice person. He's the two-term mayor of Charlottesville. But what I'm about to play for you is rambling from the mayor, and you're going to see it. The second video is Lloyd Snook, who tries to bring practicality throughout this entire meeting, including doing math. It's looking like if we get a $20 million homeless shelter, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to yield 80 beds, that we're going to be on the hook as taxpayers to the tune of, this is just ridiculous, $250,000 a bed. If we got a $20 million homeless shelter and we divide that by 80 beds, we're at $250,000 a bed. Lloyd Snook said, is that the best use of money? Snook also highlighted, and I'm going to play this video for you shortly, that this is going to cost somebody $3 to $4 million moving forward every year. Juan Wade, in the first video we're going to play for you, said, have you asked our neighbors about potentially contributing to this funding? Or is the first presentation you're making to us, stakeholders, is this the first presentation that you're making to us, meaning City Council? And the stakeholders said, we have not asked the neighbors yet. That's Albemarle County. I said this week on the show that the ask was going to be made of Albemarle County to fund this shelter. And yesterday, that was alluded to by the mayor of Charlottesville. Albemarle County taxpayers, I am looking at you. And this is, you know what's effing infuriating for me? Is my business is situated in Charlottesville City. A lot of our office rental holdings are in Charlottesville City. But my home is in Albemarle County, and some of my residential rental properties are in Albemarle County. I'm going to take this in the you-know-what on 2 different ways. Because Albemarle County, led by Mike Pruitt and Sally Duncan, Supervisors Mike Pruitt and Sally Duncan, are going to jump on this boondoggle and take Albemarle County tax dollars and start building the Taj Mahal for the houseless on the Albemarle-Charlottesville line on Holiday Drive. This show is going to infuriate you. It's going to flabbergast you. It will be the talk of the region when we're off air at 1:30 p.m. I encourage you to tag a friend in the feed. I encourage you to share the show to somebody. Sit back, I normally say grab your iced coffee, your lunch, your Yeti that's filled with ice water. I'm not going to say that today. Instead, what you need to grab, ladies and gentlemen, is your Johnny Walker Black, your Macallan 12, your Emperor of Clouds or your Minuteman, your Chardonnay or your Merlot, and you need to start day drinking right now because you are going to get gentrified out of your home because of this Taj Mahal homeless shelter that's going to be funded by our sweat equity and our tax resources. Giddy up and get ready. I'm serious. I want to give some attention to Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, 62 consecutive years in business. They are doing business the right way. Perhaps we need to encourage Charlottesville City to consider how some of these small businesses have stayed in operation for 62 years. It's called financial prudence and seeing the forest through the trees. Online at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe some of the stuff that I'm about to show you today. Studio camera, Judah Wickower. We're also going to show 2 charts sent to us by Deep Throat, the textbook definition of crowdsourced content. Deep Throat's #1 in the family for a reason. We trust him. He does not let us down. These 2 charts are 2025 census population data. And when we show these charts on the show, you're going to see clearly a migration away from Charlottesville City living. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Albemarle County is eating the lunch of Charlottesville City. And it's not just Albemarle. Louisa County is doing quite well also. We're going to talk about that on the program today. Studio camera, 2-shot Judah Wickower. You watched much of the council meeting last night, this morning, while on the clock here at our firm. I'm interested with you, now that we're focused on doing a talk show here, what jumped out at you from this meeting?
I think what jumped out for me is just the general lack of full understanding of what this is. We've jumped into a pool and we're not even sure if there's water in the pool, and it's kind of a rough way of doing things, especially in this case where we're now talking about ever expanding amounts of money that we're going to spend on this, and as you mentioned. The fact that this isn't going to take people away from the downtown mall. In fact, you also mentioned the transportation cost, and the fact that the transportation cost is to carry people from the shelter back to the center of Charlottesville.
Owen Brenner is watching the program right now. He's the executive director of the Haven. He's watching the program right now. And I stand corrected. Owen Brenner is very similar to Owen Brennan. Owen Brenner is not the executive director of the shelter. It's someone else with a very similar name. I think we get straight into this. The first clip we're going to play for you is Juan Diego Wade. This is the mayor of Charlottesville. This is 1 minute and 52 seconds. You need to listen to this. Do you call this stream of consciousness here?
I mean, I don't want to...
You're a very nice person, but you need to be very frank what's happening here. He goes from $10 million to $20 million really quickly. You need to be very frank when setting the stage here. I'm asking you to do it because you're a nicer person than me.
And because I'm a nicer person than you, I am going to frame this in terms of myself. Oftentimes, when you throw something at me and I'm not really prepared, I bumble around with my words and try to say something that the people watching won't find completely idiotic. And this seemed a little bit like that.
Okay, fair enough. And I appreciate your humility. You are comparing not being prepared and not being the best wordsmith to what Juan Diego Wade did yesterday. It's not a fair comparison because Juan Wade has been talking about this for a year. The purchase was made in the fourth quarter of last year, and he's the mayor of Charlottesville, Virginia, the face of a jurisdiction that has a nearly $300 million operating budget.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm not saying that that's what he was doing. I'm saying that's what he sounded like.
I think your kindness right here is grace and empathy by you. I'm going to shoot it straight here. This is the ramblings of someone that I frankly find to be a genuinely nice person, but
Ill-suited
and out of place to be the face of the city and one of 5 people trying to solve this crisis. It's 1 minute and 52 seconds. Do you have the sound ready to go?
I do.
I'm going to listen to it while the viewers and listeners listen to it as well. Judah Wickhauer, if you could, please cue that up in 3, 2, 1.
The first 2 options.
Because I'm looking at the big picture, like we, on any given night, 220, 230 persons don't have a reliable place to lay their head. And I know a lot of them now may be staying with family or friends, but it's not reliable. And that's why we need the Salvation Army's Center of Hope as well. But I'm trying to see what the most bang we can get for our buck. So if we, as a community, going to lean into this with, already got 6.5 million, figure another 10 or so. If we're going to lean into this to 15 or 20 million dollars, we need to get as many beds as we can out of it, within the right environment that y'all has set up. So, I'm just thinking out loud. So, when you were talking about the cost and taking a regional approach to this, and you're talking to the neighbors, is this presentation only being given to the city of Charlottesville at this point?
So far, yes.
And if we move forward and, it was this, are y'all looking to also upgrade your fundraising efforts as well, like with the different organizations to help with this as well?
Yeah.
That's Juan Wade, the mayor of Charlottesville City. What infuriated me there was the cavalier language as it applies to taxpayer money.
10 million. 15 or 20 million.
He went, it's 6.5 million. It's 6.2 million was the purchase price, not 6.5. Numbers matter. Maybe we'll need another 10 million. Call it 15, maybe 20 million. That was extremely cavalier, and that's the nicest way possible to put that.
Mm-hmm.
This is on the record, in a meeting, a special one that everyone could possibly watch and listen to, that certainly everyone will watch and listen to now that the water cooler of content and conversation is covering it. Mm-hmm. And this has a dramatic impact on Charlottesville. We're going to show census data here for you in a matter of moments. Deep Throat sent us 2 charts from the 2025 census data. John Blair's already got a comment on the 2025 census data on LinkedIn. Nice. We'll get John Blair's photo on screen. Number 2 in the family, John Blair. He says, Jerry, sometimes it's a little difficult to think of city to county as apples to apples in terms of population. But if the census is correct, Charlottesville has lost approximately 2,000 residents since 2020. Waynesboro has gained approximately 1,700 residents. Stanton has gained approximately 1,000 residents. Lynchburg has gained approximately 2,300 residents. The real public policy question in my mind is this: what is driving people out of Charlottesville? If population was level, I don't think it's a big deal. But a city of 46,000 people losing 2,000 people in 5 years is a serious issue. A serious issue, John Blair. That's a perfect segue or transition into the census data, which was provided to us by Deep Throat. He took a deep dive on this today. He's number one in the family. Here we have number one and number two in the family making the show better. The first one I want to put on screen is the red and blue one. Tell me when that's on screen.
All right.
Viewers and listeners, straight from the 2025 census data, released last week. Deep Throat's already taken a deep dive on it.
And there we go.
Take a look at the screen. Census population change. Deep Throat, sarcastic and tongue-in-cheek per usual. Keep it on screen. Mm-hmm. He says one of these places is not like the other, and none of them is growing particularly fast. The region is growing basically around the U.S. average. Then Deep Throat says, more interesting is to look at net domestic migration. That's the second chart. Put the second chart on screen. Are people from the rest of the United States moving to these jurisdictions or moving away? The second chart, give me a thumbs up.
Okay.
Is domestic migration, net domestic migration data. Look at the screen. Americans, Charlottesvillians, are fleeing Charlottesville City. Fleeing Charlottesville City. The second highest rate of domestic outmigration of all the jurisdictions in Virginia, except for Alexandria, which was only higher by a few bips. He then compares and contrasts it to Gallatin County and Bozeman that had 14% net domestic migration in the last 5 years. That is an inflow. He says the cheerleading for this region is truly delusional. John Blair asked this question. It's a good one. What public policy is impacting the drive of people out of Charlottesville? It is, I've been saying this on this platform for how long? We know what it is. We have government, we have council. This is council. I'm not going to blame this on employed salary. I'm not blaming this on employees of Charlottesville City. Because in large part, they do as council does. I'm not even going to blame this on council. I'm going to blame this on taxpayers who voted for the councilors. We have activists and advocates on the dais instead of fiscally responsible people that prioritize 48,000 or 50,000 people over 250 people. Over 500 people. We are about to enter into such a boondoggle of an agreement that this homeless shelter is going to cost, it's already cost $6.2 million. Mm-hmm. That homeless shelter took an office building and two parcels, 3.8 contiguous acres off the tax rolls. It's now going to be estimated 20 million when it's all said and done, called another 13.8 million to get to 20 to remodel and convert the office building into a homeless shelter. It's only going to net or yield 80 beds. There is not an operator in place to run this low barrier shelter because of how risky it is to manage a shelter like this with the clientele that utilizes it. The executive director of the Haven, and I want to repeat, the executive director of the Haven is Owen Brennan. There is an Owen Brenner that's watching this show, but they are different people. Owen Brennan yesterday told council that if we bring this $20 million homeless shelter, that's going to cost $3 to $4 million per year just to manage. And we don't know where that $3 to $4 million per year is going to come from. We're then going to need another $500,000 per year to transport the homeless to and from the shelter. And still, that's not going to solve the problem of the homeless camping at the Rivanna River, the Rivanna Trail, or on the downtown mall, or in public places. Make it make sense. And here's a little bit of practicality. This is Lloyd Snook, Of the 5 counselors on the dais, the one that's closest to a friend, and he watches this show, is Lloyd Snook. He legitimately is sitting 30 feet away from me down the hall. Lloyd Snook is. He owns in a building that I am the largest owner within, the Macklin building on Market Street. We serve on the same commercial condo community. Okay, I see this man a few times a week. We have a video clip from Lloyd Snook from last night's meeting. Listen to this. This is some practicality at least. Judah Wickower in 3, 2, 1.
And I mean, one of the broader questions, aside from the capital cost, is whether this whole thing is going to be sustainable on an ongoing basis. And I remember seeing estimates of, if I remember the page came through, somewhere around $3 or $4 million a year expected. Where would that money be expected to come from?
It's a great question. We don't know. We're hoping to talk with other localities' governments, just like we're presenting to you all today. This is not the last conversation we're going to have with local government about this, but we will be relying on a number of different funding streams to fund this.
I mean, as it is right now, I don't know where you all get your money. So I don't know whether those sources are expandable or whether you're going to end up saying, oh, gee, we're going to have to ask the city for that $3 million. One of the broader.
Okay, so that's Lloyd Snook saying, hey, this is going to cost $3 to $4 million once it's online just to run. Where's that money coming from? That's what he's saying, right? Mm. You have one of 5 people that's voted and entrusted to run a $270 million yearly budget that's saying, where's this money going to come from?
Yeah.
You had the first guy, the mayor, basically say to the stakeholders who are doing the presentation, these are the nonprofits that are on the teat of taxpayers and local government, whose executive directors and assistant directors and staff are paid and funded, and their livelihoods and their mortgages and their rents and their bills are paid for by us, that are basically saying, no, we haven't made the presentation yet to Albemarle County. Juan Wade said, have you presented this to our neighbors yet? And said, no, you're first. Get ready, Albemarle County, you're next. And you got Sally Duncan and Mike Pruitt on that board that would bend over backwards twice to fund this. Now they're going to have to find 2 other people to align with them. I'm not sure there's the political will to do that on Albemarle County's Board of Supervisors. You have $500,000 allocated to transportation. You don't have an operator in place. You took 2 parcels off the tax rolls, a 27,000 square foot building off the tax rolls. The building, the shelter is not going to be ready for 24 to 36 months. In this presentation, there's reference to red tape. The city is going to red tape itself. The city is going to red tape itself with this remodeling project. The city is boulangering itself. Boulanger is watching the program. The city is boulangering itself.
I don't know if that fits the definition. But,
anything is boulangering that's bad.
Anything.
Anything that's bad is boulangering.
Okay.
Anything at all. That truck hit that car. He boulangered that car.
Oh, man.
That dog walked in the park. He boulangered the grass after eating his lunch. Now we got 2 other clips to play. Set the stage for the viewers and listeners for the 2 other clips from yesterday's meeting.
We've got a clip discussing the overall costs going from phase 1 to phase 2, which also includes the overall area that they're planning on building, which was greatly reduced from phase 1 to phase 2. We've also got a clip about the beds that will be getting installed and how many we're going to get with this renovation project.
We have a comment that's come in from somebody that's C-suite at a commercial and residential development firm. He's asked for anonymity, obviously for obvious reasons. He says, This affordable housing, listen to this. A going yet high purchase rate for a nice multifamily property locally runs you about $190,000 per unit, which would be about $95,000 per bed if it's a 2-bedroom unit. 80 beds in a $20 million shelter is 263% more expensive than the top of the line apartments in Charlottesville. This project is 263% more expensive than the luxury apartments in the city of Charlottesville.
It's nuts.
And it does not even include the $3 to $4 million per year that in today's money it's going to cost to operate in perpetuity, the $500,000 per year to transport the homeless to and from,
The downtown mall.
the opportunity cost of taking 2 parcels in a 27,000 square foot building off the tax rolls, and yet does not solve the problem of camping and sheltering in public places like the downtown mall, the Rivanna River, and the Rivanna Trail. This is insanity. This is insanity. We have 2 more clips to play. Which one is this one that we're going to play first, Judah?
I believe the next one is costs. So
This
we
is
can do either one.
This is the cost clip. The lady that's doing this presentation is one of the nonprofit stakeholders that's doing a back of the napkin estimate. I want you to listen to this clip as her voice is quivering with uncertainty and anxiousness. Her voice is legitimately quivering in this clip. Has no idea what this is going to truly cost, and straight up says it in this clip. Judah Wickower, in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, thank you. Construction cost. So again, in the fall, we had 2 options. The pricing for those came between, the top one was 9.9 million, the bottom one was 9.7 million. Through the work to reduce the project, we came down to 8.6 million. Again, these are all preliminary estimates of the probable construction cost based on very early concept information, and should not be taken as the exact fixed price that this will be. It's going to be plus or minus, and it will change. It may go up, it may come down as further information is developed that explains the project, and the assumptions that are being made by those estimating the project can be confirmed through further analysis, investigation, or design work. And that is typical of every design project that we work on. So we have gotten the question, why aren't there more savings versus what we've done? Because diagrammatically, it's reducing quite significantly from what you see on the left to what you see on the right. And the primary reason is because it's a heavier renovation, meaning that more of the existing fabric of the building is being torn out to accommodate the new condition, because every space needs to be right-sized for exactly what that function is, so that we're not wasting any space in this building. So as we pack it in to try and decrease the new construction, we're actually increasing the renovation costs in the existing building. So that number raised from 1.2 million in the diagrams to the left to 4.5 million in the diagram to the right. There's also more site work and kitchen equipment than was developed in the fall. So that number is more accurate now with increased information. The addition, even though it's small, is more complex than the one in phase 1. The phase 1 addition over here, some of this was just a single story addition, whereas this one proposed is a 3-story addition. Escalation, times have changed since November. Unfortunately, the economy and the world has changed significantly, and that is reflected in more cautious estimating and increased pricing. Go to the next slide. So again, we're looking at renovating the existing building, 26,000 square feet and change, new construction of just under 4,000 square feet, the construction cost estimate just under 8.6 million. The timeline to do that renovation is anticipated as 12 months. The corner, again diagrammed here, that would be on the first floor of a fit out is 750 net square feet, and we would work with UVA Health hopefully to fund those construction costs and really understand further how they needed to fit out the building. Can you go to the next one? This is more detailed analysis of the cost estimate that you can't read, unfortunately, at this scale. But it does go through all of the various disciplines and divisions that go into creating a cost estimate. And what is not included here is FF&E. So furniture is extra on top of this number. FF&E is typically 10% plus or minus of the construction cost, if you want to estimate a full project cost as opposed to just the hard construction costs.
Absolute insanity. Judah, you were laughing throughout that entire low light. Why?
Especially at the end where we find out that furniture is not included.
FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment are not included in the estimate. Make it make sense. The estimate presented to City Council yesterday was unreadable by City Council in the presentation because the print was so small. Make it make sense. We have one more low light that we're going to play for you on the I Love CVille show today. Oh my God, it's about the beds. This was initially marketed and promoted to us. We got bamboozled. This is the huckster in Queens or Harlem or Brooklyn with a cardboard box on the street corner playing 3-card Monte. In the fourth quarter of last year, everyone was given the impression by the city and the nonprofit stakeholders that were going to benefit from this $6.2 million purchase. We were under the impression because of them that there was going to be 200 to 250 beds in this $6.2 million purchase of a 27,000 square foot office building on 2 parcels that are contiguous that are 3.8 acres. The idea was, let's use our money to give a hand up to these people, not a handout. We got 200 homeless and we can put 250 beds in here, and all we need is $6.2 million of your money. And we're going to do it, and we're going to open this quickly. Now the bed count is at 80, and they need another 13.8 million. And that 13.8 million doesn't include FF&E, which is 10% of the total project, another 2 million. And that doesn't include the 3 to 4 million per year that they need to operate it. Oh, and they don't have an operator.
Or the money to operate.
And that doesn't include.
Lloyd was asking who they're gonna fund the operators.
Lloyd Snook straight up said, "Where's this money going to come from?" And he's in charge of the $270 million that the city has for its operating budget. He says, "Where's this money going to come from?"
I love his non-expletive. Oh Jeep.
Oh Jeep.
Oh Jeep. Are you going to come and ask us for $3 million?
They're clearly going to do that. On top of that, they need $500,000 to transport the homeless there. And on top of that, it's not going to keep the homeless off the downtown mall, the Rivanna River, the Rivanna Trail, or public parks.
Because the transportation is going to bring them back to the downtown mall.
Exactly. Of course, the guy that's the executive director of the Haven wants to transport the homeless from the downtown mall to the shelter on Holiday Drive. Because his facility at the Haven is on the downtown mall, and that's how his salary is. That's his salary. If there's no Haven on the downtown mall, he doesn't have a job. If we don't transport the homeless from the downtown mall to the shelter and back, the staff at the Haven don't have jobs. Do you see what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen? We got one more low light that we're going to play for you on the show today, and this one's about the beds. Jesus, Albemarle County, you're about to get shaken down. Albemarle County residents, you're about to get shaken down. by these stakeholders, and they're going to extort and leverage homelessness to take taxpayer dollars. And Mike Pruitt and Sally Duncan are going to be the gateway. They are going to be the mouthpieces of that empathy extortion, that empathy leverage, that empathy shakedown. Get ready, Albemarle County, you're next. One more low light that we're going to play. How long is this one, Judah?
This one is just over 2 minutes.
2 minutes, 2 minutes. Grab the Johnny Walker Black and the Macallan 12. It's time. Judah Wickower in 3, 2, 1.
You can go to the next one. And the question that we get, primary question is how many beds are in this new proposal? So this is a table illustrating the existing quantity of beds in the left column there. Our proposals in the fall, which again, we're calling phase 1, is in that center column, and our phase 2 proposal, which you're going to see today, is in the right-hand column. They are categorized as there is a gender separation occurring in the building between men and women, which is the existing condition happening at Potcham. The ranges you can see under the existing quantities vary by location. So some churches can hold more occupants than others. That's why there is a high and low range to the men and women numbers in the left-hand column. To further define what's on this chart, there are isolation rooms, which are basically single occupancy rooms. Isolation would occur if someone is sick, would also be if there's a behavioral issue where someone needs to be separated and they just need to cool down. There's a potential space that they can go to it's an undefined number of nights, maybe one night only. Gender neutral is just that. If individuals who don't identify as men or women, then there are neutral spaces for them to house them outside of the designated men and women areas. Medical respite is defined as sort of a step down, coming down from the hospital. Those are the beds we removed from the program between the phase 1 proposals we did in the fall and the current proposal you're going to see now. And it's to be determined with UVA Health whether that would be a future phase that could be added back into the project. In conclusion, we currently have 80 beds requested to be in the project now, which is an increase of 20 to 30 beds over the existing conditions that Potcham currently has. And that is our sort of minimum goal to meet to inhabit Holiday Drive.
I want to highlight that in this project, they are including the $20 million homeless shelter, gender neutral rooms for the homeless that do not identify as men or women. Gender neutral rooms. Gender neutral rooms. Now I'm gonna say something that's more from a bird's eye view on this topic, okay? And then I'm going to get to handsome Hank Martin's comment that I think is very good. I'll get to Carly Wagner's comment. I'll get to Vanessa Parkhill's comment. William McChesney, Patrick Bull's comment. Print, radio, and television is watching the show. Two of the counselors are watching the show right now. An Albemarle County supervisor is watching the show. This is going to make people uncomfortable. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. We live in a community called Charlottesville where its governance, its leadership would rather prioritize somewhere between 200 people and 570 people, the estimated homeless population, ahead of its 48 to 50,000 residents. Instead of simply banning public camping, banning the storage of public possessions, instead of simply banning public drug use, banning public swearing and loud behavior, banning public defecating, banning public urination. The city instead is choosing to allow all of that. You can camp in public places. You can store your possessions in public places. You can use drugs, heroin, in public places. In fact, here are containers to dispose of your heroin needles. You can defecate in public places. You can urine in public places. You can bathe in public places, the river. We want you to do this. Instead of banning all that behavior, like the very large majority of civilized and responsible jurisdictions are now doing. It's happening everywhere. You go to Southampton, New York, you don't see this in their village, their downtown. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere they ban this behavior. The only places that don't are what? Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, San Francisco. And look at what's happened to those cities. The overwhelming majority of cities in our country ban this behavior. Charlottesville is instead choosing to follow the path of Skid Row. And then not only is it going to follow the path of Skid Row, it's going to allocate $20 million to a shelter that doesn't have an operator, that will only have 80 beds, that will cost $3 to $4 million annually to fund, another $500,000 annually to transport the folks, that takes 2 parcels off the tax rolls and solves no problem at all. Is that about right?
You'll just have to wait and see.
Handsome Hank Martin's photo on screen. Jerry, as you and Judah have stated previously, these videos that you're showing on your show today prove beyond doubt that you both are correct, and this is an irrefutable proof. It is obvious Charlottesville does not have a homelessness problem as much as it has a leadership problem. Thus far, Charlottesville has spent $6.2 million on a building that houses exactly 0 people today and will need $20 million more before it opens, hopefully 3 years from now. Meanwhile, people are living in tents along the Rivanna Greenbelt near Freebridge, a formerly public recreational area, with taxpayers now paying to clean it up repeatedly. We're throwing money at trash bags instead of solutions. Charlottesville can buy buildings. They can fund studies, which now show contradictory data on the true number of the homeless in the area presently. They can reallocate $500,000 on the fly, yet they seem unable to get people off the riverbank. The plain, difficult, and unspoken truth is this: Charlottesville receives tens of millions of dollars every year from Albemarle County, $21 million this year alone. There is not a lack of money. It is a lack of strategy, accountability, and courage. Handsome Hank Martin. Philip Boulanger is Boulangering the show right now. Consecutive days, we're getting Boulangered by Boulanger. Carly Wagner's got some comments on the show. They are building more of a homeless service center. So much office space and other service spaces. If they are also funding transportation, why do they need all the dining rooms and conference centers?
That's what I'm curious about.
Go ahead.
It's a little unclear if the Haven will continue to do what it's doing. It sounded as though there may be a chance that the Haven becomes something else, but I agree. Looking at the plans for the space in the video, there are clearly defined spaces for food, kitchens, dining for all of the beds.
It's a effing hotel.
Well, and
They're building a hotel.
Some of the stuff that you've talked about in the past about
Wraparound services.
about creating a place where people can access computers, can work on working on getting jobs, work on whatever else services that they need, getting IDs for the woman that lost hers. Obviously, that won't be helpful for her right now, but one would hope that this would take over a lot of what, or all of what, the Haven is doing, especially with the space they've got.
I've been told by multiple heavy hitters that the owner of the Haven is willing to exit the Haven and sell his position on Market Street in downtown Charlottesville if the price is right and the price tag is considerably above market value. And he told the heaviest of heavy hitters locally who approached him about buying the Haven, buying the real estate, the value of your property is this according to the market. We'll give you a premium above the value. And the Haven's owner responded with this. This is what I've been told. You're not even close to my number. I want significantly more than that. And if you don't meet my number, I'm going to double and triple down with what I'm doing here in your shopping, dining, and commerce district.
But if Holiday Drive ends up doing what the Haven is currently doing, then the people actually running the Haven, not the people that own it, but the people that are working there, if there's nothing to do there, it doesn't matter what the guy wants for it. If there are no services being given there, then hopefully the people that need those services would migrate to Holiday Drive. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but ultimately I think the owner of the Haven only matters if there is nothing else available. Because like you said, if the goal is to buy the place and prevent it from being loci for all of the houseless population, then who cares what he wants for it?
Deep Throat responds to the anonymous C-suite individual who works in commercial and residential development. Deep Throat says $190,000 per bed. No, he says $190,000 per unit for existing luxury product, which is why we all said on this show, Charlottesville and Albemarle County should have purchased Eagles Landing when it was for sale. And it wasn't Eagles Landing, it was Cavalier Crossing. Slight correction there. Cab Crossing is what was purchased by Bonaventure, the REIT, the real estate group from Northern Virginia. That was actual housing.
Yeah.
Like actual bedrooms and apartment suites.
Yeah.
Much better, much more robust and significant than what this $20 million project is going to be on Holiday Drive.
My only question about that is, would it have the capacity to host the services?
Why wouldn't it?
I don't know. I don't know the floor plan, the layout. I don't know.
Bonaventure Multifamily, a REIT from Alexandria, Virginia, bought Cavalier Crossing, a 144-unit apartment complex on the city-county line, for $18 million in June of 2024. $18 million. We're now at $20 million for 80 beds when this REIT bought 144 apartments.
But do we know how much money they put in renovating it?
144 apartments that are already existing. What Bonaventure's doing at Cavalier Crossing is taking it from entry-level apartment to luxury.
Right.
They don't need to do this for the homeless population. There doesn't need to be
That's fair.
lap lanes and workout equipment and pickleball courts and massage parlors and happy ending facilities like Cavalier Crossing is doing for the houseless. Bonaventure wants to turn Cav Crossing into
Yeah.
the bee's knees. A perfect segue into the data, the charts. Put them on screen again. Dude, Houston, we have a problem here. Houston, we have a problem here. Put the first one on screen.
There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, look, and we're going to leave this on screen. This is 2025 census data. The census population for 2025. The 1-year changes in blue. The 5-year changes in red. All of them are positive except for Charlottesville. John Blair's point is perfect. He says it's a population of 46,000 people. When you lose 2,000 people in 5 years, you're losing 5% of your population in a 5-year period of time.
Yeah.
5% of the population of Charlottesville, according to the 2025 census data, has been lost in a 5-year period of time, people. There's no media in Central Virginia. There's no platform in Central Virginia that is talking about this like we do. This is why the show works, because it's unfiltered, unafraid, unaffiliated, unabashed, unchecked. Put the next chart on screen. You can find this as well. Deep Throat just studies this stuff. The dude digs data. Fortunately, he sends it to us. Thank you. The next chart is net domestic migration data. Look at the net domestic migration data. People are sprinting out of the city. They're sprinting out of the city. John Blair says, what policy is causing this? Hey, Judah.
I call on Jerry. I think he knows the answer.
Oh,
Go ahead. Tell the class what you think.
the policy that is causing a drop in population in Charlottesville City is multifold. It appears to everyone that it's become governance backed by activism instead of governance backed by prudence and fiscal conservative mentality. Financially responsible mentality. It appears the mindset of prioritizing 220 homeless over 46 to 50,000 people is backfiring. It appears when you allow your most important 8 blocks to be dilapidated and monopolized by a couple of hundred people, that it's going to have negative consequences. It appears that if you prioritize activists over taxpayers, that the taxpayers will be alienated, will get alienated, and they will leave. It appears that if you continue to tax your residents, your lifeblood, year after year after year, and there's consideration now for a 2-cent real estate tax rate increase, that your lifeblood, your backbone, will leave. And certainly when a neighboring jurisdiction, Albemarle County, that has vast more housing options, way better schools, significantly better economic development and amenities, is rolling out the red carpet for folks to move there. I'll say it again. Give me an example of economic development Charlottesville City has done since the start of the pandemic until today. I just need one. And the revenue sharing agreement, the $21 million, does not count. And I will offer this warning to people. Albemarle County, you're about to get shaken down for money for this shelter. Taxpayers, they're going to knock on your door. And the folks that are going to be knocking are Mike Pruitt and Sally Duncan. And they're going to come with a message. Oh, you don't want to help the disenfranchised? What does that say about you? You're despicable. That's going to be the message.
Yeah.
Guilt. Guilt leverage, guilt extortion. Oh, you don't want a 15-cent increase on your personal property taxes? You're a POS. You don't want a 1-cent increase on your real estate taxes to help fund this shelter? You're terrible.
I thought you called yourself a Christian.
I thought you were a good person. That's how it's going to be presented. No one's talking about it this way. But it's what's happening. No one talked about the UVA health scandal, the white-collar racketeering, and the profits over patients, except for this show. You don't want to help them. And every time you pop the personal property tax or the real estate tax, all you're doing is widening the gap between the haves and the have-nots. And you saw the counties that were upticking, right? You see Louise is booming. You see Waynesboro and Rockingham and Stanton are booming. Greene is booming. You see what's happening, right?
Yeah.
They're just fleeing to the neighboring counties.
Right.
And wait until AstraZeneca comes and makes northern Albemarle and the Greene County line a hotbed. Why do you think the geniuses, they're absolute geniuses at Stanley Martin Homes, are building product in Greene? Let's give them some love. Honest product, trustworthy product, condos and townhomes and single-family detached homes, built and sold by people of integrity and honesty and communication. Stanley Martin Homes does it the right way. These dudes and dudettes are geniuses. Thousands of homes coming to the Albemarle-Greene County line. They know the census data. You follow the builders and developers. There's still 600 lots waiting to be built in Spring Creek. Louisa County's got it figured out. I'm going to have a very analytical written commentary on the I Love CVille network published within half an hour to 45 minutes. We'll include these sizzle reels, these low-light videos that we showed on the show today. And I'm also going to include some data points that you can reference for your cocktail and charcuterie party this weekend. It's basically written. I just need to proof it, and then we'll syndicate it across the network. I'll close the program by saying you're not getting this commentary or analysis or coverage anywhere else because of two reasons. Legacy media is broke. Print, radio, and television is broke. They can't hire people, and the people that they can hire are 22 years old. They stay here 18 months, 2 years, and they leave and they do it again. They don't have the institutional knowledge or memory to do this. This is the water cooler content and conversation. It's the reason why the metrics of the show, the viewership, listenership, and reach of the show is absolutely exploding. Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller, Thursday afternoon in downtown Charlottesville. I just saw an arc go down Market Street, and there were 2 giraffe, 2 eagle, 2 black bear, 2 kitty cats, 2 German shepherds, and 400 Charlottesvillians. And it looks like that arc is going straight for the bypass in the Albemarle County line and North Point and all the development that's happening out there. Come back, please. Come back. We need people to work in our restaurants. Come back, please. Our coffee shops don't have baristas. Come back, please. We need patrons to support the businesses. Come back, please. Judah, studio cam. Studio cam, and then the Market Street cam. Come back, please. Come back, please.
I'm not sure if he's coming back, guys.